I'm gonna start this video with a little quiz. What do you think was the deadliest pandemic in world history? Was it the Spanish flu of 1918, which infected 500 million people and killed over 100 million of them? Or what about the Black Death, also known as the Plague, which is believed to have killed around 25 million people in Europe alone in the 14th century? How about COVID-19, which by the end of 2021 had killed over 5.3 million people worldwide? Well, actually, all of these are wrong. The deadliest pandemic in recorded human history is actually a little-known disease called the Forgotten Epidemic. And today, we're looking at the forgotten epidemic that killed more people than war, famine, and genocide combined. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload. The Forgotten Epidemic, sometimes referred to as the Great Plague or the Plague of Justinian, was a devastating outbreak of bubonic plague that occurred in the 6th century AD. Named after Roman Emperor Justinian Plague, who was himself infected, the pandemic is believed to have been brought to the Byzantine Empire from Africa by rodents on merchant ships. The disease then spread rapidly throughout the Mediterranean, killing millions. Estimates of the death toll vary widely, but it's generally agreed that it killed between 50 and 100 million people, making it the deadliest pandemic in recorded history. For comparison, this would be equivalent to wiping out every single person on the planet who has ever lived in Finland, Sweden, Norway, and Denmark combined. The Forgotten Epidemic is also notable because it not only killed a huge number of people, but also greatly affected the course of history. Historians estimate that the plague killed around half of the population of the Byzantine Empire and severely weakened the Sassanid Empire, paving the way for the Muslim conquest of the Middle East. It also contributed to the decline of the Roman Empire and helped to usher in the Dark Ages in Europe. Prior to the pandemic, the Eastern Roman Empire, commonly known as the Byzantine Empire, was home to around 50 million people. By the time the plague had run its course, this had been reduced to just 10 to 15 million. The Sasanian Empire, which covered parts of modern-day Iran, Iraq, Turkey, and Syria, was also badly hit. At the height of the plague, it's estimated that up to 5,000 people were dying every day in Constantinople, the capital of the Byzantine Empire. The city was so overwhelmed with corpses that they began to be dumped into the sea. The symptoms of the disease were absolutely horrific. Victims suffered from fever, chills, weakness, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, and painful swellings in their groin or armpit. As the disease progressed, the swellings would grow larger, turning black and oozing blood and pus before the skin around them fell away, leaving nothing but open sores. The bacteria could also spread through the lungs, causing pneumonia and bleeding from the nose and mouth. And if that wasn't bad enough, the bacteria would often find their way into the bloodstream, leading to septicemia and death. Around 2/3 of people who contracted the disease died within a week. At first, the Byzantines didn't know what to do. They tried a variety of ineffective treatments, including bloodletting, which involved draining the blood from the patient, and the application of leeches and purgatives. However, as the disease continued to spread, they began to make some progress in understanding how it was transmitted. They noticed that the disease was spread by fleas living on rats and mice, and they took steps to try and control the rodent population. However, these measures were only partially successful, and the plague continued to rage throughout the empire. The Forgotten Epidemic is one of the most horrifying diseases in human history. It wiped out millions of people and changed the course of history forever. So, I'll leave the next question to you. What do you think was the most terrifying thing about this disease? The massive loss of life, the gruesome symptoms, or the fact that it was completely unknown to the people of the time? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload.